What's up, everybody? Straw Hats Are Cool here, back with another video. Very excited about this video today. Some of you may know, some of you may have even participated in the event, but this past weekend, PPG hosted their online regional for July. Um, this was a 1,008 player event, so 10 round event, and I was able to make top 32 with Rob Lucci. I barely squeaked in at exactly 32nd place, but because this event was over 800 people, that does mean that I got my invitation to the national championships, which will be held next year. So, really excited about that. This is the deck I use, slightly different from the deck list I posted about a week ago now. So, top 32 for this event was comprised of 12 Edward Newgate, 7 Zoros, 5 Trafalgar Laws, 5 Rob Lucci's, 1 Doflamingo, 1 Charlotte Linlin, and 1 Charlotte Katakuri. So, yellow not really making a great performance this time around. Do keep in mind this event did not have the new restrictions in place yet, as those will not be live until July 28th. So Edward Newgate still running a little rampant. Might be his last big showing before we see a shift towards Zoro taking dominance. So like I said, this was a 10 round event. I went 8-2. My first round was against Big Mom, which I was able to get the win against. One of the tougher matchups for Rob Lucci is yellow, so it was a little bit of a scary one. Round 2, I went against Magellan. That was also a win. Round 3, I went against Zoro, which is again another tough matchup for Rob Lucci, but we were able to get the win on that one. Same for round 4, also against Zoro, another close game there. Round 5 was against Whitebeard, which is my most favorable matchup, I think. I was able to get the win on that one, but did lose to Whitebeard in round 6. That game I just really wasn't able to draw any counters, had a lot of blockers, but was forced to use them on 6k attacks and just wasn't able to put on enough pressure to close the game. Katakuri in round 7, which I also lost. And like I said, rough matchup for Lucci. Was a very, very close game, though. Really came down to the wire. Round 8 was against Whitebeard, which I won. Round 9 was against Law. Really didn't think I was going to get that one, but was just barely able to close out that game. And then round 10 was also against Whitebeard. So did get to play against my most favorable matchups 4 times, which is good for me. Don't want to really talk too long about the list. Like I said, it's very similar to the one I posted about a week ago. Still got the 4 Suru, 4 Spandam, 4 Fukuro. For the CP9 focus build, I think this is pretty standard. I did add in 2 Tashigi now. There's another 2k counter. Like I said, that was something I wanted to fit into the deck, so we found some room. We're at 10 2k counters now. For Khalifa, just our CP9 2k counter. For Borsellino, pretty standard. Dropped down to 3 Kumadori, and honestly, I kind of want to go back up to 4. Card's really good, even just to play outright. Like you can get him off of Bluno as well, but there were quite a few games where I just played him on turn 2 going second as just a 6k body, and that does put on a lot of pressure. Got the 4 Bluno, still one of the MVPs of the deck. 4 Kaku, great removal, doesn't require you to discard a card. Down to 3 Sakazuki now. Sakazuki still really good. Still love seeing him on curve going second. Um, but I dropped it down because I wanted to include at least some number of copies of Garp. Garp was really good. He is a great play for your odd curve. So if you have to go first, he's a good play going first on your third turn. Uh, Pretty similar to Sakazuki, just removal. Only hits 4 cost, and you do have to tap him to use his effect. But there, the tapping is honestly both a good and a bad thing, because there are times where you kind of want them to attack him because he's a 6k, which is easier to defend than your leader's natural 5k. So Garp, really good. Glad I managed to find some room to include a couple copies of him. Still running the one Jabra. Don't think he ever was played. So honestly, probably just swap him out for another Kumadori. The Rush Rob Lucci was incredible. This list is probably going to change a lot now that once the new restrictions go live, but if I could do it over again, I would definitely have made room for a second copy of Rob Lucci. Won me at least 3 of my games. The pressure you get if you can play him on turn 3 or 4 is incredible, especially when your opponent's off to a little bit of a slower start. Just a 7k body that can immediately start swinging was way better than I thought. Basically said the same thing in my deck profile, but really put in a lot of work for this event. Like I said, initially I just had him in the deck because I thought he was cool, but the card definitely overperformed during this event, so would definitely want to make copies for or make room for another copy of him in the future. Drop down to 2 E-Show. It felt fine. I was able to have him when I wanted him, but might go back up to 3. Played 2 10-cost Kuzan, and be honest, I don't believe he ever hit the field in any of those 10 rounds. He's good when you can play him, but it is just often a little difficult to have him hit the field. So honestly, I'd probably cut both of them, add another E-Show back, and add one more Rob Lucci. Still got the 4 air doors. Card was really good, especially when I triggered it out of life. There were some times where I triggered it out of life, even just to get something like a Tashigi as just another, 4k body, pretty easy to attack with, and does have the utility of being able to be tapped to reduce the cost of your opponent's characters. And then again, just cheating out something like Bluno or Kaku on turn 2 is incredible. Down to 2 shockwaves, felt good. If I had room to run 4, I probably still would, but didn't mind having it at 2 at all. 2 felt really good. So that's the list. Really happy with how it performed. I honestly wasn't expecting to do all that well with this deck going into it, but like I said, really been trying to make this deck work and was hoping for the best, and we were able to get there. All my opponents were super cool, good games. Like I said, really happy to have the invite. Been really grinding and hoping to get there and also get that top 32 prizing. Most of my opponents were flexing on me with their top 32 regional finalist playmats, so excited to now have one of those for myself. But that is about it. So, like I said, this was over 1,000 people, so top 32 feels really good. If you watched my last video, I'd mentioned that last couple events I've gone to, I've only been able to accomplish a 6-3 finish, so feels really good to push past that barrier, and hope to produce some more good results in the future. We'll be going to Gen Con next week to play in both the Treasure Cup and Regional there. So probably still going to stick with Lucci just because he's my boy. And I feel like I can play around a little more now that I have the invite, have a little more fun with the format. But deck did really well, and I'm happy to see there were 4 other players who were able to make it into top 32 with Rob Lucci. Initially, I kind of thought that it was a lower tier deck of the format, but it has been proving that it can hold its own. Maybe just due to the fact that a lot of Edward Newgate running around, but nonetheless, happy to see it doing well. Glad I was able to get this finished. Let me know what y'all think. If you played in the event yourself, let me know how you did down in the comments. But with that, I will catch you all in the next video. Peace.